The 2020 US presidential election has drawn to a close. About the two presidential candidates, we usually call them King Trump and Sleepy King. It's just for fun, of course. In fact, there has never been a man with a king title in a republic state like the United States. Neither the founding fathers of the United States, but there was once a king. He's not King James, but the real king whose name is Norton the First. In January 9, 1880, the San Francisco Chronicle made it headline with 4 French words: "Le roi est mort," which means the king is dead. The obituary read, "Norton the First, by the grace of God, Emperor of the United States and Protector of Mexico, departed his life." So who is Norton the First? Norton the First, formerly called Joshua Abraham. Norton was a successful businessman before he became a king in the United States. In 1849, he inherited $40,000 from his father and later expanded his wealth sixfold by investing in real estate. But he didn't sit on a throne with great success in business. What made him as a real king was a great failure. In 1853, due to the famine, China stopped exporting crowds to other countries. The price of rice in the U.S. surged in a short time. Norton thought it was good timing to make a killing, so he devoted all his money to import rice from Peru. However, the price of rice slumped. Norton soon lost all of his money and declared bankruptcy. In 1858, he became a penniless poor guy until the next summer. This former millionaire in San Francisco came back to the public. But this time he was in a tattered old-fashioned uniform like a European admiral and looked distracted. People thought he's mad, but he was rational, just a little crazy. He walked into a local newspaper and gave the editor an Imperial Edict. It said, "At the peremptory request and desire of a large majority of the citizens of these United States, I, Joshua Norton, formerly of Anglo Bay, Cape of Good Hope, and now for the last 9 years and 10 months past of San Francisco, call, declare and proclaim myself Emperor of the United States." Well, if this happened in another country, Norton must be seen as a psycho. This so-called Imperial Edict would be thrown into the garbage can. But the editors made the paper the headlines the next day, so people in San Francisco found themselves become the subject of an emperor. Maybe they also wanted to add some pleasure to their life. Local people accepted this idea, to live under the rule of Norton the First. On that day, some people even bowed to him respectfully. And Norton the First usually rode back every day to see people's livelihood. The emperor would be willing to give a hand if someone needed his bicycle repaired. And he would even check whether the local police worked seriously. He would even deliver a speech sometimes. Besides entertainment, local people liked Norton the First. The anti-Asian protests were usually seen at that time, and some innocent people may get hurt. Someday Norton saw a protest happen. Then he walked to the center of the crowd and persuaded people to leave there and return home. Although his justice speech was joined out by laughter, his enthusiasm and courage won him people's love. Several best local restaurants would hang the sign, "By appointment to His Majesty Emperor Norton the First," at the door. So the emperor never starved, even though he's broke. Local theater and musical hall even kept the seat especially for him. Maybe it's the origin of the influencer economy. There were 2 street dogs accompanying him. When one named Lazarus was killed by traffic accident, Local people even mourned the dog voluntarily. When the other, Bamber, died of an illness, Mark Twain wrote the eulogies for the dog. Of course, Norton I was a self-given title, which means he wouldn't have any real power. But he once ordered to dissolve the U.S. Parliament in newspaper and ordered Frederick, the commander-in-chief of the U.S. Army, to clean the halls of the Parliament and even required to build a bay crossing bridge from San Francisco to Auckland. Well, those orders have never received any official reply, let alone official enforcement. Do you think the story of Norton I is very similar to The Emperor's New Clothes by Anderson? A crowd of people created an illusion for a person, but there's one difference. In Norton's story, people's lives came from love and a sense of humor. But in The Emperor's New Clothes, all the lies came from people's fear and compliance to authority. Similar to Anderson's fairy tale, there was always a little boy who abandoned the line. This boy was a local policeman named Amanda Babier. In 1867, he saw Norton wandering on the street, arrested him, and then forcefully sent him to local mental hospital. This aroused the anger of the local people. The policeman's rude behaviors was criticized by the newspaper. Even the hospital stood on Norton's side and said, Norton I's hands were never covered in blood. Neither did he ever seize others' wealth, nor levied heavy taxes to endanger the country. He's better than too many politicians. To deal with the public opinion, local police chief Patrick Galley apologized to Norton himself, and the lenient Norton I gave an amnesty to the young police. Although the whole country has never accepted Norton's suggestions, people accepted him. In the 1970 national census, local investigators specially noted Norton's post as an emperor. More interestingly, Norton once issued his own paper money in order to pay off his debts. Some businesses really took Norton's currency. More ironically, due to the U.S. Civil War, the currency issued by Southern and Northern government at that time were not stable in value. Norton's currency was more recognized by the public during that period. After 25 years under the rule of Norton I, people in San Francisco found their emperor collapse in the street before he was to give a speech to the Scientific Institute. The passers-by called the police, but Norton died before being sent to hospital. At the moment, he only had $2.5 with him. But local business association bought him a glorified coffin made of rosewood. It said over 30,000 people joined in the funeral procession, from capitalist to the poor, from clergy to the thief, from well-dressed men to the homeless beggars. People cherish the memory in these 20 years and also the good time to protect a fairy tale. We always imagine a fairy tale, but sometimes a heart of fun will make the reality more memorable. Strictly speaking, the emperor did leave a legacy to his people. After many years, the Crow's Bay Bridge Norton once called for was open to traffic. A monument was erected there which wrote, Emperor of the United States, Protector of Mexico, whose proficient wisdom conceived and decreed the building of San Francisco Bay. I'm Kathy Chen, that's all for today's video. Thanks for watching. If you like it, just follow me and leave a comment. Bye!